The batsmen enjoyed the second day of the LV County Championship match in Taunton, where Somerset are entertaining Yorkshire, the home team putting themselves into a decent position at the halfway stage. Tim Bresnan enjoyed the morning. He began day 2 on 54 out of his side's 343 for 8, and perhaps would not have been thinking about 100 when play got underway under cloudy skies. He only had Stephen Patterson and Jack Brooks left to help him, and his objective would simply have been to get as many runs as he could, a team total of 400 for maximum batting bonus points, the most important. However, the way he was playing, a 4th first-class ton and a first in this competition since 2007 for the 30-year-old, soon became something within reach. Patterson backed him up really well at the other end as the Sun tried to break through. The partnership was soon becoming a very frustrating one for the home attack, who would have been hopeful of putting their feet up before too much damage was caused by Bresnan and the tail. With England, who've decided against using Yorkshire's Jason Gillespie as their new head coach, going along so well in the Test match at Lord's with Ben Stokes suddenly becoming a national hero, Bresnan may find that he's a forgotten man as far as the Test team are now concerned. Not if he plays like this. This was a terrific knock, and Bresnan deserved his 100, which came with a 3 off Peter Trigo, which took him to his 3-figure mark of 136 balls, an innings containing 12 fours and 1 6. Trigo was the pick of the Somerset attack and deserved his 4th wicket as Patterson gloved a short ball behind to go for 42 just before Jack Brooks was out for a duck, as Yorkshire settled for a final score of 438. Bresnan ended on exactly 100, but he was to have less success with the ball on what is a good batting surface in Taunton. Marcus Trescothick hit his first ball for 4, while Tom Abell also got going with a boundary first thing off Brooks. None of the Yorkshire seamers could find any help from the pitch, and that meant that both batsmen were able to hit boundaries at regular intervals. Somerset looking a little more confident after their victory over Nottinghamshire at Trent Bridge last week. Trescothick dominated the opening partnership, and these couple of runs off Liam Plunkett took the 39-year-old to the 50 mark for the 168th time in his fabulous first-class career, this one coming off 59 balls. Trescothick would have been a relieved man after picking up a very rare pair in his last championship match. Alas for him, he didn't go on to make his 57th century, as on 56 he feathered a ball from Patterson behind to end the partnership with Abell on 84. Abell put that loss behind him and in time went on to record the 4th 50 of his career in what is just his 15th innings in the first-class game. He needed 101 deliveries for his, and it was reached with his 8th 4. He wasn't quite done yet either. He made 95 on debut against Warwickshire on this ground last year, and with Johan Myburg joining him at the other end and settling in nicely, it appeared that everything was aligned for Abell to push towards a maiden ton. Instead, he was out for 62, failing to get to the pitch of a leggy from Adil Rashid, which was edged into the hands of Bresnan at slip, with a total on 163 for 2. That became 165 for 3 in the next over, when Myburg went too far across his stumps and was trapped in front by Patterson after making a pleasing 41. Those losses brought in James Hildreth, whose excellent start to this summer with the bat appears to have gone beneath most people's radar. He is in terrific touch and got moving here with 2 sixes off successive balls from Rashid, just the 12th and 13th faced by the new batsman, who was off and running very quickly. During this knock, Hildreth became the leading run scorer in the First Division this season, and he's hit more than anyone else in all first-class cricket this year, averaging in the mid-60s. This in a team which has mostly struggled so far this year. He has scored 300s, 1 in Championship cricket, and this was his 3rd 50 as well. It was made off a rollicking 30 deliveries, from which he'd struck 6 fours and 2 sixes. It was just the kind of innings his side required from him at this stage of proceedings. Showing the maker's name tells you how good a batsman is playing. Twice Hildreth drove so straight he struck the stumps at the non-striker's end. A slight alteration with the wrists then sent the ball through straight mid-on. Hildreth was at the peak of his powers by now. He'd left Tom Cooper well behind Hildreth into the 70s by the time that these 2 boundaries carried Cooper into the 40s. It was an exhilarating partnership which added 129 runs in 22 overs to put Somerset into a strong position, the total moving up to 294 for 3. But shortly before the close, having raced to 82 off 60 balls, Hildreth belted his 61st back to the bowler Rashid, who held on well to end a wonderful innings. Cooper's, meanwhile, went almost unnoticed, but he was the 7th man in this match to get to a 50 before stumps were drawn. He needed 86 balls to do it, and it was made courtesy of his 8th 4. He and night watchman Alphonso Thomas then saw out the remaining couple of overs. The second new ball will be due after 5 overs of the third morning, and Yorkshire will need it to produce some magic. Somerset will start the day on 309 for 4, 129 runs behind, with Cooper on 55 and with some big hitting batsmen still to come.